who's pulling the strings? Who is it? Who is pulling the strings that is governing over all of us? That's what I want to know. That's what I want to delve into. Thank you so much for jumping on this. If you're happy with the content that you're seeing, please like, subscribe and follow and comment, because this is a community for all of us. Just jumping on this. I did a short the other day, and it was about the cost of fuel. Something that's affecting so many people around the world. It's something that's quite critical. Australia is seriously going through it at the minute. Korea as well. Here in the UK, there's a lot of concerns about whether we're actually even going to have fuel to even use. But this is on top of other bits and bobs that I want to go into with this, and how it kind of applies to the lower man, the low Joe on the system, you know, your average Joe on the street. Because, as I've mentioned in another short, there was a survey that was carried out in January, and it was regarding what the main concerns are for people in their day-to-day, and 88% said it was the cost of living. And that was in January, before Mr. Trump decided, do you know what, I'm going to bomb the shit out of Iran. Okay, and as we know, it's got exponentially worse since then. But is this all to plan? Is this something that is not just a series of unfortunate events, but is actually something that has come together on purpose? And that is what I want to know. Because I tell you for what, after the, shall we say, the 2020 to 2021 debacle, and everything that's come up about that, which obviously we can't talk about because things get shut down, it has made me question a lot of things, and it's made me question a lot of intent on certain people. So let us look at this. The overriding problem that's hitting everyone at the moment is this: the Strait of Hormuz, and the issue of the passage of travel through that because of what has happened in Iran. Now, I was normally a strong supporter of Trump and his take on things, you know, especially this idea of nationalism and such. But even I, when I've heard the news that a missile strike had pretty much wiped out a fair chunk of the governing people of Iran, even I sort of thought, I wouldn't if I was you. Likewise, if I'd have heard that the same had happened in Russia or something like that, it was just my initial gut reaction was, oh, God, like taking a hornet's nest and just, whatever that is, sort of at it. Well, as expected, unrest and everything, and conflict and war in the Middle East tends to have a knock-on effect to everything, because that's where an awful lot of oil comes from. And what have we found? Yes, there's been a bit of an issue with that. So with reports that the cost of a barrel of oil hitting to potentially could be hitting $200. It's untenable. It's untenable. But then, you know, I don't want to go down that rabbit hole, because then we could go down the idea of, well, you know, maybe we shouldn't be so bloody reliant on certain area and its oil, especially when the UK's got a fucking ton of it near us that we just don't seem to want to use, because wind farms, which don't work and are made in China. But no, you know, beside that. So here we are, and my short that I made said that, well, you know, this is getting to the point where the average fuel price for diesel is hitting, soon going to be hitting £1.90 per litre. Obviously, America has its own equivalency of what it does. And as the owner of a diesel vehicle, yes, it's hit me quite significantly. It's been horrendous, actually. It's been to the point where I'm like, do I really want to go and travel to here, there and everywhere, when I know that when I get to the forecourt, it's going to cost me however much just to put fuel in my car? And as somebody who does have to travel for work as well, sporadically, that's two words merged together. Oh, that's going to hit. that's going to hit quite hard. But it's not just me, it's your average person. It's your person who does travel to and from work every single day. It's your businesses that rely on travel. They're being hit horrendously hard. And yet expected to weather the storm. Now, I will take my hat off to places like Germany and Australia who have tried to implement, and there might be other places as well, just I'm not aware of it. So let me know if there are, implement measures to try and help. So not that this would be an option that I would go down, but they've made in certain places public transport free. I know that's Australia, or at least parts of Australia. And the one that really has helped a great deal is the reduction of duty on the tax on the fuel. So instead of the prices going up exponentially, they're being brought down to more reasonable levels, which at least shows some kind of effort, shall we say. So when Keir Starmer is completely silent about this, and when he's had meetings, he's had Cobra meetings, he's just mirroring what other kind of institutions are saying, which is like, well, what you should do is work from home, and if your house is cold, then don't turn your heating on, and don't do any unnecessary journeys. And well, really, you should be having an electric car anyway, and so this really wouldn't be an issue. I mean, it's madness, and he has no 0 point finito interest in the people whatsoever, but we've all known that for the longest of time, and the sooner that idiot is gone, the better. And so here we are stuck in a situation that doesn't look like it's improving, because even when I heard the news about the initial strike in Iran, I thought, well, this isn't going to last a matter of a few days. This is going to rumble on like a never-ending war. And I don't think it will. My own personal opinion is that the Iranians, that country is a little bit like with the Afghans. You're not going to beat them because they're so entrenched and tribal, and they know the layout of the land. And this is also a somewhat mountainous country as well, which is what was always the issue with Afghanistan and so on. They don't care. They don't care. And obviously they've got the access to the Strait of Hormuz and the attacking of, plus they've now got the Houthis joining in, and other little elements of fighting and groups and tribalism and so on going elsewhere. So a bit of a mess. And so for the Donald, you've probably fucked things up, mate. But is it by design? Who knows? Because now he's saying, well, we've got oil. We've got plenty of it. Maybe he does. I don't know. Maybe he's trying to disrupt other things elsewhere. Or maybe his allegiance with Israel has gone to the point where it's almost become sexual. Who knows? One thing I do know is that this country and a lot of the West is suffering. A lot of the world is suffering. Like I've already said about travel, diesel is just ridiculous now. I can't really afford to keep running that. But it's weird how that has come, whether it was on purpose or whether they've just jumped on the bandwagon. This idea of, well, there's this oil crisis and fuel crisis, and, maybe, you should use other methods and all that. It seems to be like an opportune moment that these people have decided to then try and forcefully put forward their idea of this electric car and working from home, and don't bother travel. Certainly don't go flying, because, whoa, you selfish bastard. Want to go flying? Have you thought about what that would do? It seems a little bit like too obvious. Is it a red herring, or am I actually noticing something here? We've known for a long while they want us to lose our cars. They want us to stop traveling. They want these however many minute cities where everything is contained. They don't want you to leave your home. They want to control. We all know this. It's all blueprinted. It just seems a little bit too close to home when it's now happening with this idea of fuel. Okay. And, kudos to the people who are like, well, I've got an electric vehicle. I don't suffer anything with this. No, not yet. Not yet, but it'll be coming your way. Because let's remember, Energy prices, they've already said that they're going to go up eventually. And they're already in the motions of going up. But these are the same people who are saying to you, oh, I'm very environmentally aware, I've got an electric car, Yeah, where's your electric coming from? It's not wind turbines. I'll just let you know about that now. It's the great push. It's potentially lockdown number 2. I think people are just going to be forced or encouraged to just stay at home, not go anywhere. But why? Well, you're easily controlled then, aren't you? Free travel, moving about here and everywhere. We don't like that. We like people contained. We like people to be in one particular area so we can control over you. And it's when you get a jigsaw puzzle, and if you was to take it in its original form and start breaking it up and putting the pieces here, there, and everywhere, but kept it in a line to what the picture is, from close up, it looks just like a bunch of pieces. You don't really look at it. But when you start moving out and you start to see all these different elements coming in, you now start to see what the bigger picture is. And we can see it. We know what's going on here. Food prices. For several years now, people are putting up videos about how the cost of something has gone from this to this now for no apparent reason. Well, the apparent reason initially was due to the certain lockdown that we had, and then it was blamed also on the conflict in the Ukraine, because a lot of the what was it that came from Ukraine? Was it the maize or wheat or something came from Ukraine, and then that was blamed, the fact that the war was going on, that was blamed as to why everything was so expensive. Now they've not mentioned that anymore. That seems to have gone, even though the war is still rumbling on. It's now fuel and transport and everything like that. And people, and as much as I've been smiling and that through this, it's because this is just so ridiculous, and the enormity of it and the impact it has on families who are struggling. I've never seen a country so decimated as the UK at the minute in terms of lack of finance. Nothing works. Everything is broken. There is no system in place. Everything is disjointed and corrupt and ridiculous and overwhelmed. It's got to the point of ridiculousness. Inflation above wages. People haven't got any expendable income. It's hit us really hard. We've just had it come through with our water bill has gone up. Our council tax went up, unsurprisingly, to the full maximum percentage it could be. And then when you look at it, you sort of see, well, what has actually gone up? Where is our money going to? And the biggest increase to the council tax was to increase on police. I've never seen them round here. Who are the police? Because we don't certainly see them. Granted, I know they're too busy investigating hurty words on X and Facebook. Maybe that's where they all are. 8 people turning up because somebody said something slightly spicy on X. Maybe that's what it is. But that on top of fuel prices, it's this squeeze. And then when you squeeze something only so much, there's only so much you can get out of it. And this is where people are getting becoming homeless, not being able to pay rent. They're having to sacrifice. We've had to sacrifice a fair bit just to ensure that we're still floating along. And then you start to think, well, we're just existing now. There is no luxury, no hobby. There is no. You're just from month to month to month, and it's demoralising and it is counterproductive, because I think in an economy that rewards initiative and industry and all that, it tends to flourish. No, we don't want that. We want people on welfare. And I think this is what it is all down to. I think the idea of expenditure to live a life that you want is not welcome. We want you to live within welfare means, and ideally then relying on the state to continue to live. And I think that's where we've got to. I think that's where we're going. I can only imagine how this conflict that's going on is going to continue. People have said, "Look, come on, Keir, help us out. We need something here. Reduce the duty on the fuel." You know, he's not going to do that. It has been reported they are getting £20 million extra a day in tax because of the increase in the costs in fuel. I mean, granted, they're then going to send that money to, you know, DEI initiatives and you know, and to the further support the never-ending war in Ukraine that will just never cease to be. Sorry, but it never will. But that's another matter. They have no incentive of stopping it. They have no incentive of helping the common man. They ultimately want people crushed down to their lowest ebb so that they can then come in, swoop in and save everyone through the welcome arms of welfare. What was the line that was said? You will own nothing and you will be happy. And that's where we're going to. And I think the more that we're seeing videos of, look at the cost of this, I can't afford this anymore. Car tax has gone up ridiculous, you know, to have these really reliable older cars that last, now being taxed, you know, through the teeth so that you can buy these half-assed vehicles that just don't work, filled with electronics, filled with subscription services, just so you can have heated seats, and that are designed to break down frequently. And no cars are now being, and don't take my word for it, go research it yourself. Cars are now being made so that if there's ever a problem, you can't fix something, you can't repair something, you have to replace something. Okay, that is where we're going. That is where we're going, and it's going to be for the lucky few, and it's going to be for nobody else. Because why would you need to leave? Everything you're going to have is right here. It's a scary world. It's where we're going. It's this globalist idea, and it's been pushed forward by the World Economic Forum. The WHO have also sort of cottoned on to all this, especially with the injectee from a few years ago now. There's a lot of plays in place at the moment by a select few people, and you don't have to go into the worlds of David Icke, of there's lizard people running. Maybe there is, I don't know, maybe there is. But there's certainly, whether it's all planned or whether it's just people having an opportunistic moment of, okay, well, if this is going on, I'll tell you what we'll do this. And this is what I think is happening with the whole fuel issue. Instead of helping people, they go, oh, well, this is going to help our agenda a little bit more. But families are struggling. People are struggling. There's no incentive for people to start businesses. It really is. And let's not forget as well, the globalization of the population as well. So immigration, which is a massive issue in a lot of the Western countries, because if there is no such thing as being British, because it's been so diluted by the ideology of those coming in, and the fact of, well, what actually means to be, what does it mean to be British? You know, if it doesn't mean anything, then you lose your identity and you've got nothing to fight for, and so therefore you're easy to divide and conquer. Okay. It's mad. It's mad. It's clever, but it's mad. And it's also detrimental to all of us. What can you do? Because then people go, it's all right talking about it, but what can you do? I've seen a lot of videos where people have gone and lived native, shall we say. So they've gone to move in the woods and such, but then they're now coming for people like that. You see people who have decided to move into caravans or motorhomes or things like that. Oh, they're the biggest enemy in the world, aren't they? All I would say is, with the best of your means, live how you have always lived. So I'm going to still keep driving. I'm still, as much as I might be somewhat reducing the amount of miles I might do, I'm not going to reduce it entirely. I will still be driving. I will still be visiting people. I still will be doing what I need to do. Still going to have to buy food. Still going to have to buy whatever we want. Probably just making smarter choices with things. Don't always instantly assume that what the government is telling you is correct and is in your best interest, because I think we now know, thanks to a certain incident, that they do not have your interests at heart. And I'm sure I'm probably preaching to the choir here, so I do apologise. But there's a lot of people with certain idealistic traits of how they feel that the world should run, and that we are just awkward, stubborn people in the way of their great master plan. You could call it a final, their master plan. You also could call it the final solution. Somebody else had a final solution as well, didn't they? It's not much different. It's not much different. We are but pawns. We are but people who can easily be crushed just to put forward an ideology. And I'm absolutely fucking sick of it. I really am. And it's good to see that so many other people are. Civil war is potentially going to be breaking out in the UK. In America, there's different things, obviously, with the ICE situation there. That's causing frictions as well. By design, maybe. Just maybe. What do you think? Let me know, because I can't be the only one who feels like this. And I know I'm not, because I see the videos. But what do you, my community, feel? What do you think is going on? Where do you think this goes? How long does this go on for? That's another question. Personally, I think this is the beginning of the end. And where did we go from there? Thank you so much.